talking about media literacy and our everyday digital programme. Now today Vicky and I are going to be talking about disinformation, but if you've not checked out our previous videos, we've had chats about social media and gaming, so do check out the links in the description where you can find these videos. And to find out more about our everyday digital programme, click on the link in the description and that'll take you straight to our Parent Zone local website where you can find out more. So Vicky, today we are talking about disinformation, and I'm not sure why, but for me this one feels a bit trickier than the others.
I think this is the most difficult one, and I think it's the one that you probably think about when you think about media literacy. Your mind probably goes to mis and disinformation and are you being misled? So I think it is the most tricky one, and I'm sure that you find as one of our local guides that this is the one that parents maybe don't think about immediately, but actually when you start to talk about it you realise just how important it is, because it's covering stuff like scams and being fed a load of nonsense and ending up in echo chambers where you get the same message fed back to you, and even really serious stuff like radicalisation. So it is the trickiest, but it's also, I would say, maybe the most important one.
Yeah, okay, great. So thinking about habits, have you got any habits around this one that other people watching might be able to steal from you, use, adapt and make it their own?
I have. It's quite hard thinking about habits for this one. And I think one of the things about this habit stacking approach is that nobody's suggesting that you have to do all of them. You just pick up one or two and then, you gradually add more as you go along. So, but I have got some. And my first habit is this. I'm a bit of a news junkie. So I wake up in the morning and listen to the radio news. And in the evening, when I've finished work and I sit down, I will watch the news. And so the habit that I'm going to get into, because I always go to the same place for my news, always the same channel, I'm a BBC girl, there it is. If I hear something that confuses me, surprises me, shocks me, upsets me, any of those things, I'm going to get into the habit of checking another news source, because I realise I have just fallen into a routine of always going to the same place for my news, and I need to mix it up a bit. So I'm going to start cross-checking. I'm going to start checking my sources.
Yeah. No, that's a really good habit. And in the studio, we deliver our interactive assemblies, and in them we talk about checking your sources, not just getting your news from one place. If you see something, just check various places to make sure it is real, because don't just see something and automatically believe it. So yeah, it's good that you're going to be checking those sources and getting your news from elsewhere and seeing what else is kind of other sources are saying about topics.
So what you're basically saying to me is that primary school children are already ahead of me on that one. Fair enough, yeah. Chelsea,
yeah.
Fair enough.
I don't know why you're surprised, Vicky. Primary school children are ahead of me on lots of things. They're brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have a second habit for us?
Yes, and again, this is another one that I know we teach primary school children to do, and it's the saying something out loud, because that really makes it something that you're conscious of. So my habit that I think I'm going to start to use more, not quite sure what I'm going to stack it on, but I'm going to start doing it, is noticing more when there's an advert or a product placement. So instead of just accepting that there are adverts and things, I'm going to start actually saying, I wonder if that's a product placement. I wonder if that's an advert. I wonder who's paid for that. So that you're bringing to the surface the commercial intent behind the content. Because I don't know about you, I can remember when adverts were very specific, you had to stop watching the programme because there was an advert break, whereas none of us do that anymore. We just scroll straight past, don't we, because who wants to watch adverts? Mm-hmm. And what's happened in a digital space is that they've just become a bit more invisible. So they're still there. There are still product placements. There are influencers trying to get you to buy products. But it's less obvious. So it's really important for children that we start pointing them out and saying it out loud when we see them.
Yeah, so being aware of where those adverts are, what they are, and what the intention of the person trying to sell you something is, or are they not trying to sell you something, what is an advert and what's not. Yeah, that's really interesting, because like you say, on the TV it used to be really obvious this is an ad break, we're going to an ad break, but now it's all kind of a bit more hidden and a bit more harder to spot. So yeah, nice one. Now, I don't know if mine is a habit or not, but I'm going to share it anyway. I'm going to give it a go. So since we've been talking about disinformation and that idea of reading between the lines, I've kind of, whenever I'm looking at something online or on social media, or it can actually be like a magazine or something, I've started to think more about the intention. So who's written that, why have they written that, and what do they want me to think or feel? And I've really started to be more aware of what it is I'm looking at and what people might be trying to get me to think. Don't know if that's a habit, but I just wanted to share it.
I think that is a habit, or it might be something that people will just start to do, and then it becomes a habit. We were talking about this in the office, and the example that somebody gave was supermarkets giving away those free magazines when you go in. And why do they do that? And they do it because they want to make you hungry, and they want you to make you buy more stuff when you're in the supermarket. They don't do it just because they want to give you a free magazine. So I've been thinking about that ever since. Now, when I go into the supermarket and I see that pile of free magazines at the front, I think, I know what they're trying to make me do. They're trying to make me hungry, and they're trying to make me buy more, and I'm not going to pick it up anymore.
There we go. Being aware of what's out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just goes to show that these habits aren't all about digital. They're not all about on or offline. And that's kind of why the programme's called Everyday Digital, because it's so much part of our everyday life. It's just about life, isn't it? And these skills are useful wherever you are every single day.
Great, thanks Vicky. So if you've got any habits or you've started stacking some habits, we would love to hear what you're doing. So please do drop us a line. The email is in the description. Again, if you've got any questions, any comments or anything you're concerned about, drop us a line. Our local guides will get back to you. The email address is in the description. And to find out more about Everyday Digital or to look at our different resources, we've got loads of advice, loads of articles. Check out the Parent Zone local website. Thanks for joining.